So, do we have any visitors tonight?
Anne, a former member, is
Former member,
hopefully
good.
going to rejoin.
I'm in the process of putting in I just put in my credit card information, so I'm working on it.
Great, welcome back.
Thanks.
So at this point, we have 52 active members. And these are all the different ways that you can follow us: our website, calendar, where you can get details of the meetings, our Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Slack.
Good.
So today we are doing our welcome, business, and announcements. And the question I have to start off with is, does anyone have any Apple gear or other tech products that they bought recently and would like to talk about?
Saving your money.
Saving your money, good. So our board is the same. John Purvis couldn't be here tonight. He's our president. He's the one who usually runs the meetings. I saw on Facebook that he's in Arkansas, Springdale. I'm the vice president. Our secretary is Bill O'Barr. Treasurer is Tom Weaver. And our members at large are Jim Wynn, Tom Morris, and Koki Craig. Our board meetings are the first Wednesday afternoon of the month. And you are welcome to join. These are the CapMac appointments for 2024. And why would you want to join CapMac? Well, we have several people over the past few months join our general or coffee meetings as a visitor, and we invite you to become a dues paying member of CapMac. And if you do pay dues, you get a domain name registration, website hosting, annual subscription to Zoom, mug discounts. Oh, no, that's what the dues pay for. The dues pay for the domain name registration, the website hosting, the Zoom cost, mug discounts, and the annual member picnic, and then door prizes. And the benefits of being a member is that you get to take advantage of mug discounts. You get an invitation to our annual picnic, a vote in the annual election, and you're eligible to run for elected office. And the dues are, for regular standard membership, $36 per year. There's a student educator membership for $24 per year. You just have to show your student ID or teaching credentials. Also available for first responders, military, and veterans. And then a fee waiver is available on request. If you missed the meeting last month or any previous month, be sure to check out the recording on our YouTube channel. Just search for CapMac Austin. We had a couple of really great questions at our Ask the Help Desk team. So if you come early at 6:30, you can ask for help, and pros like Robert Fraser will answer them for you, and Tom Weaver. You can also submit questions via to president@capmac.org or through the Slack. This is from last month. I don't know if he put out a new newsletter this month or not, but John usually issues the newsletter out with his March meeting email. And these are the Apple user group discounts that usually come through a email listing. So if you want more details on that, you can contact president@capmac.org for details on those. All right, so let's go back to our agenda. And I would like to talk about a couple of DJI products that I've had for a year or two. And the first one I would like to talk about is this little camera.
Nathan, what is a DJI product?
So DJI is mainly known for drones. It's a company, but they also have this little camera that I want to talk about. It's called the DJI Pocket 2. And it has the same camera as the drone. So let me bring up the slides for this. On Amazon, it's $279. It's a 3-axis, so it's on a gimbal. That means it's stable with a 4K camera, 64 megapixel photos, pocket size, and it takes pictures and video. Now, the screen is literally postage stamp sized, but this is what it looks like. It has the camera part here. This is a touch screen actually also. And then you can't see it in this picture, but there are a button here and in here that will turn it on and off, or the on off button is on the side, but these will switch between photo and video mode. So if you press that button 3 times, then it will change either to portrait mode or to selfie mode. By default, it comes on in selfie mode. Then there is a touch screen that you can also scroll back and forth between. So if you touch the button, you can go between video and camera. But you can also swipe over and go to photo, panorama mode, story mode, HDR video, slow-mo, and time lapse. Then if you don't like to use that little postage stamp size screen, you can attach your iPhone to it. So you take off this little tiny little bar, and then you can put on, it comes with either Lightning or USB-C attachment. So with the newer phones, you'll need the USB-C, but there's also a Lightning attachment that comes with it for the older phones. And then it looks like this. And you get the DJI Mimo app, MIMO, on your phone, and you can now control this camera with your iPhone. So with all the buttons like taking photos, panos, story mode, videos, you can change the direction. You can have it on follow and so on. So that changes the selfie versus, and then you can, there's like a joystick kind of that you move your hand back and forth and you can change the gimbal, the direction of the camera. So pros and cons, it has great stabilization. It does use a separate memory card. It uses a SD Mini, so very, very, very tiny memory card. And it has a lot of features, but as a con, I don't know if it's all that much different than what an iPhone can already do. It's just if you want maybe to have some of those videos or pictures separate, you might want a separate camera. Another con is these little parts. Those are tiny, tiny little sticks, the USB-C or lightning connector and that little joystick. So you have to keep track of those tiny little parts. There's also a bit of a learning curve. Like I was at the botanical garden and I couldn't figure out how to change it from selfie mode to just regular camera mode. And I had to look it up that you have to click 3 times on the button to get it to turn around. And that's not something I would have figured out myself. And then there's also no real metadata on the photo when you import it into Photos. You can, it has a, instead of IMG underscore like the iPhone pictures, it has a DJI underscore, so you can do a search for DJI to find all those pictures, but it doesn't. It says for the camera and for the model, there's no information available.
Does it have any, is it like waterproof? Is it meant to be like an action camera for
No,
that
it's just
sort of
mainly
thing?
it's for, I think it's mainly for bloggers or vloggers. It's for having a camera on a gimbal so that's really stable, or for kind of doing kind of walking action shots kind of thing.
Okay. So does it also have like a mount for like a tripod or
Yes, it has a
selfie
tripod
stick?
mount on the bottom, the standard
3/8.
3/8, yes. And then it charges with USB-C. And so here's a video of it in the wild at Disney World.
No sound, Nathan?
I would have to share the sound. Let's see, let's stop that. And then share screen with computer audio. We'll try that. Hear the sound now? Let's see. Do you hear anything or not?
Yeah, but it's not showing the video.
Oh, then just playing the sound. Okay, then they changed how sharing sound sharing works on Zoom, so I have to figure out how to do that. Now you can see it. Should see it. You should hear Christmas music playing in the background. It was like 2 days after Christmas. So that's it's called the DJI Pocket 2. And it's very, very similar to just a standalone version of my drone, which is also by DJI. This is a DJI Mini 2. And that it also kind of works the same way, because just like the Pocket 2, you put attach your phone to the drone's joystick like so, and you have another app called DJI Fly to control the drone. And then also has these either Lightning or USB-C connectors also. So everything works through the iPhone on these products. And so here's the model of drone I have. It's the Mini 2 combo. It's now $629. I think I got a little cheaper. And for 3-axis gimbal, 12 megapixel photos, and about 30 minutes of flight time. And it comes with a battery pack with 2 extra batteries, and the carrying case and the joystick. And quickly, I just wanted to show in photos where we used to have our picnics. It's gone up so much in price. Last year, I brought my drone to the picnic last year, and this is the treetop above the treetops right in the parking lot from the Hyde Park Church. So looking toward downtown Austin. So it takes both still photos and videos. I didn't take any videos on that trip. I shot a picture of the skyline from the church. But here's here's an example of the fireworks at New Year's Eve with the drone. And let's see. This is a park in San Antonio. And I'm not very adventurous with it. I just generally take it straight up and do a little turn and then bring it back down again. I don't really go anywhere with it. You do have to, with the FAA, pass the trust exam, and it's like 4 questions, and you have to be in sight line of the drone wherever you fly it. And of course, in approved areas, not around airports or anything like that. So, any questions about these products?
Yeah, DJI has a very good reputation for their drones. They tend to be very highly rated.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Did Nancy ever join us?
No. I'll give her a call.
All right, while we're waiting on that, I guess I can open up the floor if anyone wants to have a discussion on anything Apple or whatever you want to talk about.
I would just like to put in a plug for the city's program of Fix-It clinics. They happen, I think, every month at a local library. And I went to one, and
Oh,
there
we're
were
waiting for your presentation at the CapMac meeting.
Oh,
There were
continue.
many talented fixers, both electronics,
Presentation at the CapMac meeting.
mechanical. Someone brought their ceramic pot throwing wheel to get it fixed. Somebody brought electronic equipment, household, like a blender. I brought a blender actually along with my computer, my laptop, and it was amazing. And then people came with their items and they assigned us to the various folks that had that knowledge. So there'll be another one in May at Carver Library in East Austin. So if you have anything around the house that doesn't work, they can fix it.
That sounds
Thank
good.
you, Anne.
Oh, and I forgot there is one other thing, part of the meeting that we wanted to talk about, and that is a former member. He's still not a member, is he, Tom? Terry Austin. You're muted. You're muted.
You're muted, Tom.
Nancy will be joining shortly. Terry is not a member, but Ann is now a member because her thing came through.
All right, great.
So, Nathan,
Yes.
this is Bill, and I've got something that I can demo fairly quick.
All right, sure.
I think I figured out how to display it, but last meeting, Nancy discussed a product, an Apple program called Standby, and so I was kind of intrigued by that, and I had looked into it myself, and so I have bought an Anker stand for my iPhone, and I can, let me share my screen. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay. On the left, is the Anker stand, and I've got my iPhone on it in standby mode. And I've got my AirPods Pro charging on the bottom, so it'll actually charge both of those. I don't have a watch, and so I didn't need to charge my watch. And in the center, that picture is the front view, and then that's the side view, and the head of it where you mount your phone swivels up and down and right or left, so it's very flexible. And I liked this so much, and I like the standby mode so much that I actually bought 2 of them, and I have one on my desk in the study, and I have one next to my bed in the bedroom on a bedstand, and that's my clock at night. And at night when the room is dark, there's a red tint, so it doesn't broadcast a lot of light, a lot of glare. You have to actually look at it to know it's there and see what time it is. But the stand is like $39, and it's to me, it's just an unbelievable value. I actually love it. And I can't think, if anybody has any questions, I can't think of much else to say about it. What you see is what you get. And it's just worked really well for me.
There's a standby mode I like. If you swipe a couple to your right, I think it's the one that has the clock and the calendar next side by side.
Yeah, and out of since that's a picture, right? I'm not going to do that, but it's fairly simple. You just use your finger and select which view that you want, and there's several available. But that by far is the clock that I like. I love that clock, and so mine just stays on that clock all the time. And I think this is, and I want to say that the magnet on this thing is fierce. It really holds your phone well. And I think it's from the iPhone 12 up. Mine is a 14. Nancy, are you on?
Yeah,
Maybe. Do you remember if display mode, what phone it started with? Was it the model, the 12?
the new feature of showing the clock at night, I think it starts
Yes.
with
Okay.
wait a minute, what are we on now? 15? Are we on, is 15 the latest? It started
Yeah. It's 15 now.
started with 13.
Okay.
And you have to have the Pro in order to have the camera constantly showing. Otherwise,
Okay.
you just cause I don't have the Pro, I just tap it and it gives me the time. I love this thing. I might have one just like it. Love it.
Yeah, I do too. It's a neat feature. And I've got a case on my phone that's really neat. It's got a little connector on the back that you can pull down and set the phone upright, or you can set it on its side. So you wouldn't have to have this Anker stand. You could just have it plugged into a lightning port or whatever, and it would work. This stand just really makes it flexible and easier to use. So highly recommended if you like an attractive phone, especially next to your bed. But that's it.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Okay.
So it should be in the top center. To stop.
Okay, so we maybe.
Bill, we're still seeing your screen.
So I'm trying like crazy. I have minimized my Zoom screen and I'm trying to find it. Just a second. Yeah, I hate doing this live, so.
There we go. You're
All right, we're back.
Cool.
All right, so Nancy Gravley has some iPhone tips for us.
Okay, thanks, Nathan. My apology for being late to the meeting. I can't even say I got lost getting there, so I just have to say, I'm sorry. I don't know what I did. Actually, if it's all right, Nathan, I'm going to talk about iWatch tips rather than iPhone tips, because I found some really cool things that I didn't know that I could do with my watch. I've got, as usual, I've got instructions on how to do all of these, and I'll give them to Robert, and he'll put it up on the website. So if somebody wants to follow the instructions, it'll be real easy to do. So what I'm going to do is tell you some of the things that you can do with your watch. Some of you may know these, but some of them were kind of a surprise. So I hope y'all found this helpful. The first one is, if you want to make if you want to make a call for somebody on your contacts list and using your watch, first of all, you've got to set it up. You've got to set it up so that you can do that. And the instructions are on this handout that you'll get. But once you have it set up, you're going to use Siri, and all you have to do is this for your contacts list is say, Siri, call her, call John, or call John Smith, or call Mom, or however you have them listed in your contacts list. You can also say her to dial a number and give them a specific number. And you also can say, call John FaceTime audio, and you can do all that on your watch without even touching it once you have it properly set up. One of the things that pardon me, my cat's joining us. One of the things that I've had a problem with my watch is being able to hear on a phone call, either hear what the person's saying or make sure they can hear me. And there's a volume control. And all you can turn it up or you can turn it down, depending on, what your specific needs are. But you go to the Apple Watch and you open the settings app, you scroll down and tap sound and haptics and control the volume right there, just up or down. It's easy as that to make sure that you can hear what you want to hear on your phone. I mean, on your watch, sorry. I love this one. You can use your Apple Watch as a timer. There's two ways you can do it. One is you just punch the round button on the side, and you'd say something like 1 minute or 15 minutes or 20 minutes. That's all you have to do. And the timer starts up. And when it's finished, it cuts off. Now, for people who have, if you cook a lot and you have a timer on your stove, I don't know about y'all, but I can't hear mine if I'm not right there in the room with it. But with this, I can go anywhere I want to and know when the timer goes off. The other way that you can do it is you make a fist and you raise your phone up like this and you say 1 minute or whatever. That's not as, it does, for me, that doesn't work as consistently as punching the button, but that is something you can do. And that's helpful if you're doing something, maybe driving, and you need to set a timer. So those two things are real handy. I did not know that you could do those things, so I'm glad to have learned it. Oh, this is cool too. You're in your car and you get a text message and you want to answer it and you don't want to stop and type. You can dictate your response. All you have to do is, again, you have to set it up And I've got all the instructions here on how you set it up. And then you hit the little microphone image and you start talking. And there's two things that you set. One is to make this active, and the other one is to make sure you have dictation turned on. So the watch is going to put the dictation in your message that you are dictating automatically for you. So that is a real cool way to, sometimes you get a message you really like. I got a phone call a while ago from Tom saying, "Where are you?" If I'd had to, I could have texted him back and said, "I'm on my way." So that's a real handy thing that you can do. And then the last one is using your watch to pay with Apple Pay. Now, I don't know how everybody feels about using Apple Pay. Personally, I feel like it's very, very secure. And if I'm doing anything on a website or anywhere else where I'm not real comfortable that, that I know exactly what's going on, and I use Apple Pay, then I know that my payment's going to be safe. Now, you have to set it up. You have to let the watch know what you're going to do. And of course, you have to have the watch app on your phone. But when you get ready to use it, you just hold it up. Like, for instance, if you go to Poke Joe's, they've got a little machine there. And if you're going to pay with Apple Pay, you just hold your watch up next to that little machine, and Apple Pay is going to take off and it's going to pay it for you. And again, it's a real handy and secure way to pay for things. I don't know if anybody's ever had a credit card number stolen in a restaurant situation. I have, and fortunately we caught it and everything, but it can keep that from happening for you. I know Walgreens has these, Poke Joe's has them. Tom, you've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, and even more than that, Nancy, you can have several credit cards on your watch, set up on your watch, and you just scroll through them to select the one you want to use, and it does not send through that credit card number. It sends through a fake Apple ID credit card number, and then it ends up on your correct bill. But if anybody intercepts it along the way, it's gobbledygook and they can never use it.
Don't you have to have those cards listed on your phone first as part of your?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So any card that you have listed as part of the payment system on your phone will work on your watch too. And it's just, it's real handy, and so why not? Why should we not do it? Does anybody have any questions? Okay, I'm gonna send this to Robert so he can post it with all the step-by-step directions. And I hope those of you who have a watch enjoy all this fun stuff you can do.
And did you know that if you have a Apple Watch 6 or newer, that you can mirror it to your phone?
Oh, yes, yes. And for some of these tips, you have to have it mirrored. Thank you, Nathan. And again, it's super easy to do. In fact, I think
it's under accessibility.
Right. So anything that comes across any kind of message that comes across my phone will come across my watch as well. And I can choose to see it, or I can ignore it and it'll go away.
Yeah, and
Let me show you.
If you're in Austin, you can take a phone call on your watch, but you can't take one on your phone because that's a handheld device and that's illegal while you're driving.
Right.
So this is my Apple Watch, and you were talking about timers. So this is the timer function.
Which watch do you have?
I have a 9, I think.
Oh, okay. Because mine that with the newer wait a minute, is that the newest watch?
No.
Because I don't have to choose anything. I just tell it how much time.
Well, I like to have a complication so I can set it to whatever
Oh, okay, that's your
Uh,
tip.
I like to do unusual times and
Okay, well, I find it extremely helpful to set that timer. Because I know I'm gonna hear it when it goes off.
then another way you can get to Apple Pay is to double tap the side button, not the crown, but the long button underneath it. And then
Yeah.
you can get into your different cards.
Oh, okay, thank you. Does anybody else have anything about the watch that you want to share?
Unfortunately, HEB does not take the contactless payments yet. But I have been told that they are about to come out with contactless payments. There have been so many of us complaining that they don't take Apple Pay and the contactless payments that they're about to come out with it.
Oh, that's
Very good to know.
okay, Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Nancy. All right, so for the final section of the meeting, we have an interesting video about the Apple Vision Pro. So Terry Austin is a professor of biology, I guess, at a college in Temple, Texas, just north of Austin. And he sent this video, and I won't let him do the introduction because he sent a introduction for us. Can you hear that?
No,
Darn it.
no sound.
Let's see how we can share with sound. Share computer sound. Try that. Can you hear that? Wait.
Yeah,
Can you hear it now?
yes.
Hi there, CapMac and Gamug. Terry Austin, Professor Terry Austin here to kind of do a quick little intro for you. I recently had the pleasure of sitting in on Coffee with CapMac with both Nathan and Glenn. Nathan from CapMac, Glenn from Gamug.
No, he's a little mistaken here because I haven't attended the coffee. I think he's thinking of John.
And they had the chance to see a video project of mine that you're about to see. I teach anatomy and physiology as well as microbiology at Temple College. That's about an hour north of Austin. You Austin folks probably know that, but the Gamug folks may not. And what I showed at this Coffee with CapMac meeting was my video of me teaching anatomy from a professor's eye view, and you'll get a chance to take a look at that. I actually bought my Vision Pro with that project in mind. So you'll get a chance to see what I'm doing with this on what I think is probably a very professional way. And then, of course, I can't talk about the Vision Pro without bringing up the idea that it is a phenomenal entertainment device. You can, of course, look at Apple TV and from there watch in the Apple Theater. It's quite beautiful. You can sit in the front row, middle of the theater, back row, sit up in the balcony, and that's kind of nice. But it's really hard to beat the Disney experience. Disney gives you 4 different options. One is the absolutely classic looking Disney theater, but really the best place and my hands down favorite for watching videos in Vision Pro is in Disney, setting on the surface of Tatooine. Yes, I'm a Star Wars fan. And on the surface of Tatooine, you are at a drive-in setting in a land speeder. You literally see the controls for the land speeder right in front of you. It just doesn't get much better than that. Love that, but it's just really pretty incredible for entertainment. And if you get a little bit creative like I got, and you'll get to see in just a moment, you can do some pretty interesting video productions yourself with this from literally a creator's eye view. So take a look at the video that you're about to see, and I want to thank you all for your time. Enjoy the meeting. Sorry I couldn't join you, but hope it goes well. Take care. Bye-bye.
So this is his video about the heart. This is kind of a 17-minute lecture. We'll have to play all of it, but just kind of give you an idea of what it
Hello,
looks like.
folks, and welcome to the cardiovascular system. We're going to begin in this video looking at the heart. So we're going to begin, of course, by looking at several heart models. Before we use these, I'd like to take just a moment and remind you of a cardiac muscle cell, which we saw back in AMP1. Key features: this is a branched cell. We can see a main branch here and then an alternate here. And then at the end, we see where one cell joins to its neighbor in this structure called an intercalated disc. And there's another one of those over here. Lots of details in this one that you learned about in AMP1. We're not going to go over a ton of that here in this video. I just wanted to remind you that cardiac muscle is a little bit unique, and its uniqueness, the branching, the intercalated discs, helps it do the contracting in the way it does. And that you'll see in the lecture videos. Now, let's take a look at the structure of the heart using these three models. We do have this big monster, but this one tends to just kind of shatter apart at the least touch, so I try to not do a lot with that model. I will show you some images of this model, as well as some images from your textbook, perhaps some images from practice anatomy lab as we get onto the test. So let's begin with kind of the very basics. This does mention atria and ventricle. We'll look at those a little bit later on, right atrium, left ventricle. So we will get to those. But for now, let's focus on the base and the apex. And those words are a little bit weird. You might...
So that is a PDF displayed.
Kind of have a preconceived notion in your mind about what might be a base and what might be an apex. Many people think of the base as being the bottom and the apex as being like the top of a pyramid or something, and that's not true for the heart. In fact, it's kind of not true for the definition of the words. The base means where something is attached. So at this big heart model, you can see all these major blood vessels. These are what attach the heart to the body, and this, in fact, is the base. I'm going to hold this heart by the base, and down here at the tip, this pointed end would be the apex. So base up here, apex down here. Same is true for this little mid-sized model. I'm going to grab the base and hold it by that, and right there would be the apex. On this little bitty guy, same sort of thing. There's the base, and of course there's the apex. Moving on, we'll take a look at section D and E here, pericardial membranes and layers of the heart wall. We have a visceral pericardium, which is a membrane right up against the surface of the heart, almost like a hand with a glove on it. And the parietal pericardium surrounds...
So skip to about 255, and he shows a keynote presentation.
So let's take a minute and look at this slide deck. Heart wall details pericardium and the heart. Let's open that up. And here we can see the heart, and right up against the surface is the visceral pericardium. That layer is a layer of membrane, about like a moist tissue, if you will, that's right up against the surface of the heart, following every little groove, every little curve, every little nook and cranny. Then we have the parietal pericardium, which is outside of that, and there's a space between those full of fluid, and together all of that comprises the pericardial sac. So that is the pericardium, and back over here on the slide, that would be item D, pericardial membranes, visceral, parietal, and all of it together being the pericardial sac. Let's move on and take a look at the layers of the wall. We already saw the visceral pericardium. There's also some fat underneath that in most cases. Then we have a layer that is the muscular part. That would be the myocardium. All of that muscle is myocardium. And then we have one cell thick endocardium right in here. It is very, very smooth. Blood clots can't form there. That's what makes all that happen. So we have from the outside visceral pericardium and pericardial fat, then a very thick, robust layer of muscle in most places in the heart, and then the endocardium. And those are pericardial membranes and layers of the wall of the heart. Let's move on now and take a look at blood vessels communicating with the heart. We'll kind of do these one at a time so we don't get lost. We'll start with systemic aorta, sometimes known as the systemic arch. On this big old boy,
So with the Vision Pro, you can have like a document over here and a document over here, or several different apps open. So so let's jump around and see if there's anything else in here. Or unless you want me to play the whole thing. Oh, here we go. Here's some drawing.
Got back together briefly, and now we'll keep on looking. Let's scroll down. The next topic to look at is valves of the heart. And I'm going to bring this back down to eye level here. Semilunar valves. The heart is a little bit different. There are 4 valves, and 3 of the 4 actually have 3 flaps. So you might have heard the word bicuspid. Only one valve actually only have 2 flaps on it. All the others are 3 flap valves, and we'll see that along the way. And only one of them is actually called tricuspid. We'll talk about that in a minute. But we have 2 that are called semilunar valves. This first one is listed as systemic semilunar valve. I've actually always preferred calling that aortic semilunar valve, and I believe you're going to see that in your textbook. But frankly, on the test, I will take either systemic semilunar valve. By the way, valve is misspelled. I fixed that for you. Or aortic semilunar valve. That actually is one of the harder valves to find, but I'll show you how to spot that. I'm going to start by showing you, really easy to spot, the pulmonary semilunar valve and the right AV valve. We're going to open up the right side, and here at the base of the pulmonary trunk, we have the pulmonary semilunar valve. One of its 3 flaps is stuck over here. Opening up the right side.
So anyway, that's kind of an example of using the Vision Pro in a non-entertainment way as a lecture for a college course.
That is amazing, Nathan. That is such a good teaching tool.
Yeah. It's pretty neat. So any other questions, comments?
That thing's pretty expensive, isn't it?
Yes,
Sensitive?
very.
Oh, you mean just
tool,
that follows the shakiness of your
No.
head and all that?
No, I'm sorry, the tool, the Vision Pro tool that he's using, isn't that very expensive?
Oh yes, it's $3,500
Oh, okay. I'm not in the sleep then.
to start with, and with probably the accessories, it's over 4,000.
That's why you go for something that's deductible for usage that's tax deductible.
But what's fun is I did this. You can go to the Apple store and get a 30-minute demo for free, and it's just an amazing thing to see in person. I've never tried any VR device before, and in fact, they don't even like to call it. They wouldn't even let me call it a VR headset. They call it spatial computing. So in Apple, we call it spatial computing. And so it was fascinating just to, because just like you see in that video, it's completely see-through. You can see everything going on around you, unless you go into one of the experiences, and then like you can be sitting in the middle of the field in Mount Hood, or sitting on the moon, and then looking off in the distance, and there's the sun, or there's the earth at different times, and it's and then there's like these videos where these rhinoceroses come right up. It's almost like they're right up on top of you, and it's very visceral and almost like you're there. There's a live photo of a birthday, little girl celebrating her birthday, and the smoke blowing from the candles after she blew out the candles just feels like it's wafting toward you. It's just an unbelievable experience. So I would highly recommend, anyone wants to, just sign up for an appointment at your Apple store for a 30-minute demo of that thing.
Yeah, I agree with Nathan about that. I went and did a demo also, and not only all the stuff he was talking about, they also take you onto a field where they're playing soccer, which is not my game, but it's almost like you're there, and even onto a baseball field. So the views on sports could be a real change to the way we look at sports with this kind of a contraption. And then if they also do a concert with what's her name?
Alicia Keys.
Alicia Keys, and it's like she's right in front of you singing directly to you. And really all you need to do is call the Apple or get on the website with the Apple Store. You need to have your prescription with you, and the only thing that they really want to know is if you have anything in the prism part of your prescription, and then they ask you a few questions about your eyesight.
Yeah, they just scan my glasses. They have one of those optometrist scanner things, and
yeah, once they get you there and they do that, and then they bring it out on this little pillow looking thing that's, you'd think they're bringing out, you know, some kind of
champagne and caviar.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. But and you spend about, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes kind of coordinating your fingers and your eyes and stuff, but it's a whole different interface than anything you've ever done.
Robert, what are they looking for when they want to see your glasses prescription?
They ask you if you're nearsighted, farsighted, and they ask you some questions going in on the website, but then they just take your glasses and they seem like, what was it? I forgot if they took pictures or what they did with it, but
they have a special scanner.
Yeah, they had some kind of scan thing they did.
Scans the prescription, and then apparently they have like maybe it's the light shield that has all that prescription information on it. So apparently they have about 100 of them that they can switch out based on what your the closest to your prescription is.
Yeah.
So are they adjusting the technology, or are they deciding that somebody can't use it?
No, they're deciding what lenses to put in so that you can get your best view of the thing, and it's it kind of takes a minute to kind of get used to it. Plus, you have to adjust it. I think part of the trick is not making it too tight. You have a tendency to want to make it really, really tight, and I think that maybe is a mistake.
And I probably should have gone with a double strap, because the single one, I had a headache got right up my forehead after about by the end of it.
Yeah, they didn't offer that to me, although I wanted it. But I thought it was interesting. One of the guys that went in the same time I did he was coming for his second view of it. I think he had built up a bunch of new questions, which I don't think they were real anxious to deal with. I think they have a set little script they want to go with, and that's pretty much it. But it goes by really quick.
Yeah, the London Mac user group last month, one of the guys there has one. And he says that strap that goes behind your head, he said that is just so uncomfortable. He's got a strap that goes over the top of his head and holds the weight a whole lot better. He says if you use the strap that comes with it, everybody gets a headache.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what most everybody says, that that other one's more comfortable because it's heavy.
Yeah.
I mean.
So you can't use this over your glasses?
No.
No, that they set your prescription so you don't have to wear your glasses.
but it's worth doing. It's
Yeah, it was quite an experience.
yeah. Yeah, I tried to talk the boss at the shop to buy me one so I could become the expert for the shop, but he hasn't done it so far.
You don't want the first one anyway. You want to wait till about the third one.
Well, I do, but if somebody buys it for me, I don't mind having the first one.
Yeah.
But no, it's probably going to be, if it lasts that long, at least the third gen, at least. I kept telling them I'm waiting for the Vision Pro Air or something like that.
Or get it built in for our glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be the standard bearer once you can just put on glasses.
To slightly change the subject, I don't know if it's going to happen, but they're talking about the new earpods that are the AirPod coming out, that the pros possibly having a hearing aid function more geared toward hearing aids than I know they've got the adaptive hearing now, which I think is incredible. But they may have possibly more of a hearing aid type function with it. It won't replace hearing aids, but it's more geared toward that. That'll be interesting if it happens. But we'll see.
And I guess the big rumor for WWDC is there's going to be more AI stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's what they say.
So maybe Siri will get better finally.
Or they'll ditch her altogether. They'll just break up with her. Although they won't call it AI, they'll call it something else, I'm sure.
Yeah, they've been calling it machine learning.
Uh-huh. They're even talking more about household robotics or something, moving in that direction too. Whatever that means. Now that they've killed the car.
So iPhone 3 says, Siri is my friend. Can you elaborate? What do you use it for?
Who's that? Oh. Who's iPhone 3? Is that?
That's Koki, I think.
She's got a cold. She may not be able to talk.
Okay, yeah. I can see that.
Yeah. She has her uses.
My wife always makes fun of me whenever I try to use Siri in the car because it almost always fails.
Oh, my car is really nice. It recognizes when my phone and stuff are in there, and it automatically pops up on the dashboard screen, maps, and I tell it where to go, or if I programmed on the phone where to go, it pops up there. Phone and directions come from this car speakers, and if a phone call comes in, all that comes through on the car speaker, completely hands-free, so it's legal in the city of Austin.
You have CarPlay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. It's great.
I wouldn't even consider buying a car that didn't have CarPlay.
Oh, I wonder how there's a lot of the aftermarket CarPlays coming out, and some of them are even below $100. I wonder how good some of those are. But
I can talk. I can talk a little bit. I'm finally getting my voice back some. And I use Siri for everything. I can ask her what time it is when I get up in the morning, and I can ask her what the weather's going to be like. I can set timers with her. I can do all kinds of things with her, and she can read things for me. And she can tell me stories too. Sometimes I get the giggles when I ask her to tell me a story. It's funny.
I have her turn on and off lights sometimes, but
I love that feature to do when she turns my lights on and off.
yeah.
I can be heading back to the bedroom and my hands will be full, and I just tell her to turn off the kitchen light and off it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, I have some lights where the on-off switch isn't convenient anymore from where I usually sit at my desk. So I just have a little plug so I can just let Siri do it.
I almost never touch a light switch in my home except for the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
I know Jeff Gamet has his whole entire living space set up with the home app, and he just does all kind of all kind of stuff with it. It's he even can, if he's not home, can tell if anybody's in his apartment. It's amazing what you can do. Although personally, I find it, for me, hard to set that stuff up. And that's just because of I think skill set. But somebody who is really into that can just have a ball with it.
So are you mainly just using smart plugs?
Me?
Yes.
I don't know. I just know that my kitchen lights will turn on and off, and my dining room lights won't, because I can't reach the bulbs to read them.
I think you're using smart bulbs a lot of the times.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm using is smart bulbs.
Yeah. I'm using some switches and some bulbs, but like front porch bulbs and TV backlights and stuff like that, I use switches and bulbs. Set it with sunrise, sunset, and things like that.
I recently got the a door lock that uses the home keys, so I can now open my front door with my watch or with my phone, or I can create a code in the phone to give to people to get in if they need to. So it's all based on Siri, and so I mean I can tell her to unlock the door if I want to.
What model of do you have?
I got the Encode Plus. Here, let me get I can do a link to Amazon where I got it from.
Yeah, we had the Sledge Lock, and then it died on us. So I've been thinking about going back to it because it was similar to that.
Well, yeah, this is a Schlage, so I mean it's
Yeah, okay.
it's a good model.
Yeah, it really is a good model.
So Craig, you were able to do that in an apartment?
Yes, I had to get permission, and so I had to create a code specifically for the apartment complex to be able to get in case I'm not home and they need to get in. But they allowed me to do it because I had an incident where basically someone twice unlocked my door and opened the door. Because I have a sensor on it, I could tell that somebody opened it, and that scared me enough that I wanted the lock changed. And I asked permission, and they allowed me to put in a new front door lock as long as they had a code to get in themselves. And that way, nobody would have a key except me, because there is only one key. I do have the one that has the key bypass, because I don't want a situation where the battery runs out and I can't unlock my door because the battery on the door is dead. So I can always get in with a key if need be.
What kind of batteries do those take?
It just takes AA's. It's got a tray that you slide into the unit. I'm trying to remember how many. It's either 4 or 6 batteries, and they say that it lasts about 6 months.
I believe those locks will give you a warning that you need to change the batteries, so you should pay attention to that.
Yeah, I can actually look up, I think, the battery level on the phone as well. Let's see. Battery level right now is at 96%. So it will tell you in the app what the battery level is. And it's really quiet. I mean, I was kind of surprised because normally you have some of them that it's like a real grinding noise that's really loud, and this was fairly subtle. So it was installed with not too much difficulty.
At least the dimensions of locks are fairly well standardized, so you can generally exchange them without too many problems.
Right.
Or you just take out the locking mechanism that's currently on your door, and what you're talking about will fit into that hole?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
And the most difficult part was lining up, getting the bolt to go into the hole properly in the door jamb. So that always is an issue, given that the door is closed when you're able to lock it, so you can't really easily mark where the up-down vertical needs to be. For the plate to have it line up.
Are we winding down?
Yeah, I think we might be winding down.
I was going to ask Craig a question about that
All right,
lock.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Craig, if you're in your house with your phone, or in your apartment, in your case, can you unlock your door from inside?
Yes.
So
Siri, unlock the living room.
You'll need to continue on your iPhone or iPad.
Oh, okay. So it's because I'm here, it makes me do it on the phone itself. So I just unlocked it with my phone.
Okay, so for somebody who is single, living alone, if they had that locked, as long as they had their phone with them anywhere in their house, if they fell, they could call 911 and then unlock their front door.
Correct.
Okay.
And it also has a feature that you can turn on, that when you leave the house, it has a setting in Siri, and this only works if you have everybody in the household has a phone or a watch or what have you, that when the last person leaves, you can set it so that it automatically locks the door. Or makes sure that it's already locked, I should say.
So it checks to see if there's any phone or watch within range?
Right, of anybody that's a member of the household. So,
right.
So I really don't need it, because to me, it's easier that just as a habit, when I close the door, you press a button on the keypad outside, and it locks the door automatically. So it's better for me to just do that. But if I were really lazy and didn't want to do that, the fact that I'm driving away, once I'm out of a certain circle radius, it will ask me, you were the last person to leave, would you like to lock the door?
Okay, but it didn't ask you when you come back range if you want them to unlock the door before you get there.
No, you do have to wave the watch in front of the pad, which that was actually one of the big benefits for this, because I mean, if you're carrying groceries,
right,
having to set down the groceries and get the key out and unlock it can be really inconvenient. So it's really nice just to be able to put your wrist up to it and have it unlock and then turn the knob and open the door.
Well, if you don't have a watch, can you use your phone to do the same thing?
Yes, you can hold your watch up to it and it will, I mean, your phone up
your
to
phone,
it.
okay.
So it's one of the first locks out there that uses the Apple Home keys, which is one of the features that they announced. I guess it was last year at one of the conferences that they did.
Well, one of the advantages that sounds like to me with this, and I don't think it affects other people in CapMac, but it may affect your parents. Now that I have to use a scooter to get around, my arms are short, and when I try to lock my door, I can't reach it. So I have to, hold on to something and stand up and try to get my key in the lock, and it's not the best option. So y'all might consider something like that for your parents if they need it. I'm gonna see if I can have it here.
Yeah, I mean it's worked flawlessly so far. So I mean I've enjoyed having it.
I think it would be very, very helpful for you.
Yeah, I mean just being able to lock and unlock it from your phone before you even get up to the door with the scooter would be very convenient.
Now, if you could just get the door to actually open so you could just drive in with your groceries.
That's more expensive.
Well, are we done?
Well, if there's no other questions, I think we can wrap it up.
I'll post one last question.
Sure.
I think I know
Go
the
ahead.
answer, but when I first got my new phone one day in bed, I said, "Lady so-and-so, play NPR." And it played NPR for about 10 minutes and then cut off. And recently it won't do it. And it's asking me to change something in settings to give it permission. But I'm wondering if anybody else has been able to do something like that. If you wanted to lay in bed and have it turn on the news on a radio or something, I mean, you didn't want to get up for that. If the phone could play it, I would think, but isn't that a conflict with Apple's iTunes?
I mean,
Maybe if you had a radio app like iHeartRadio or
NPR or KUT.
NPR app, yeah.
Yeah, because you can tell that lady person to launch an app for you. So maybe I could try that.
yeah.
And sometimes some of those developers add their own shortcuts or Siri commands to run specified radio stations or.
Okay, well, thank you. Just something else to try to make work.
Okay.
Thank you for your question.
Hey, Craig, I have a question.
Okay.
Whenever you got ready to install your lock, did you have to do any tweaking on your door? So that it slid very easily and you didn't have to force
it worked in the slot that was already there. It was a matter of line. It comes with a metal plate so that you install that so somebody basically can't kick open the door. So the screws can go in deep into the frame to line up the hole. And so, like I said, lining up that hole vertically was the most difficult part of it. Because once the door is on, I don't know if you've ever done installing a doorknob or a door lock. That can be the most difficult aspect of getting it installed.
Well, yeah, I've had doors where when you're going to lock it, you don't, and you twist it, it doesn't go easily. You have to really turn it because you have to force it, or maybe sometimes even lean on the door, and push it in, and then it'll go really well. So that's one thing that I've worried about those locks is
they recommend strongly that you make it so that it goes in nice and smooth, because otherwise it may have difficulty automatically locking.
Well, yeah, and if it even doesn't, it probably chews up more battery if it has to really work, to get it to engage. So just curious, because I'm not a door expert and I know that can be tricky.
You can rub like a grease pencil or a magic marker on the end of the deadbolt, and then hopefully if it's touching the striker plate, it can transfer a little bit of that material over, and you can see where you need to adjust.
Good idea.
Or you can just put the bolt out with the door open, close the door almost all the way, be on the outside, put little pencil marks on the door frame where the bolt is, and then use that as your guide for where to put the striker plate.
Yeah, the issue is it's not a trivial install. Not everybody could do that and then rework the hole with a chisel or whatever you've got to do to move the plate over to the right spot.
Well, I have fits here. The door from my plant room to the outside, that the clay soil is shifting underneath there, so that door moves all around, and I've had to take my little grinder and enlarge the strike plate so that for different moisture conditions in the soil, it will still lock.
Well, it's a shame you're not my neighbor. So if I had one to install, I could just get you to come over. I know you don't work cheap, but.
Well, I guess if that is it, then we can wrap it up for tonight. Thank you all for coming.
Okay.
And see you all in May.
Okay. Thanks, Nathan. Good job, man.
All right.